Hey, it's Sanjay, welcome back to my channel. In this video, I'm going to be telling you all about what the must-see things to do are when you come to LA. Like, walk up and hike the Hollywood sign. You need to drive up and get a picture in front of the Hollywood sign. In all my trips to LA, the closest view of the Hollywood sign I've been able to find is from 6,000 Mulholland Hwy, so put that in your sat nav. Now on the way there's lots of signs that say there's no access to the Hollywood sign. This is a lie. These signs have been put up by residents who are sick and tired of tourists driving up past their houses. But the way I see it is, if you're going to choose to live there, why should you deny anyone else the opportunity to go there too? So put that in your sat nav, drive up to the top, look out for the no parking signs, make sure you park in a place where you can, and then simply go through the gate, and then you're nice and close with a perfect unobstructed view of the sign and get a picture. I like to do a jumping one because I think they turn out pretty good. You need to also hike up the hiking trail and get behind the Hollywood sign. This time, to get that perfect Instagram ready unobstructed view photo from behind the sign, involves a drive up to 3,000 Beachwood Drive to the Sunset Ranch. From here there's a nice little hike, it takes about an hour up. It's a nice little walk with some great unobstructed views of LA, and you wander up to the top, and when you get there there's a nice flag there which you can get a fantastic photograph with, but there's also the great view of LA. We can see all the way down to downtown LA and get that beautiful photo that you always see on Instagram. The best way to get the whole of the sign in is to use the panoramic setting on an iPhone. The walk back only takes about 30 minutes as it's all downhill, and it's so much easier, and then you can go back to your car and enjoy the rest of LA. Next up is Rodeo Drive and Beverly Hills. When you drive past the Beverly Hills sign into the area, you can't help but feel a bit nostalgic for movies such as Beverly Hills Cop or TV shows like Beverly Hills 90210. What I quite like to do in Beverly Hills is literally just drive up a few of the side streets to take in some of the amazing houses and just the beauty of the area. It definitely is one of the nicest kept areas in the whole of LA. You can tell that there's quite a lot of wealthy people living here, and there's also really nice palm trees lining either side of the road. There's a great photo opportunity with the Beverly Hills sign, which you can see lots of people stop and take pictures with. And from there, it's only a few minutes away from Rodeo Drive, which was made famous by the movie Pretty Woman, starring Julia Roberts and Richard Gere. And it's a real sight to behold with all the big designer brands all lining the street. Places like Chanel and Bulgari and Cartier and Vera Wang and Armani and Hugo Boss. And there's lots of fancy cars lining the streets and lots of quite fancy people around too. So it's quite a good spot for doing a little bit of people watching as well. You never know, you might be lucky and spot a celeb, because LA is absolutely teeming with them everywhere. You have to go and have brunch and pancakes at the famous Griddle. The Griddle was introduced to me by a friend in LA who took me there for brunch one day when we had a bit of a hangover. It's a really cool little spot which is popular with locals and tourists alike. The menu is perfect for brunch, with a variation from pancakes through to eggs, through to omelettes, through to toast, through to different kind of Mexican style breakfasts as well. The red velvet pancake with cream cheese frosting is delicious, but a bit smaller than some of the other pancakes they do. The coffee is actually really, really good, and they give you 3 different choices. But if you're going to come here, what you have to eat are the stack of pancakes. Our one were toffee, banana and peanut butter. They are gigantic. We just got 1 stack to share between 2 people, and even then it's a struggle to get even halfway through, and we ended up carrying most of them away in a box. So actually it probably does you for breakfast and lunch, but also gives you a bit of sustenance if you say wanted to hike the Hollywood sign later that day. Another place you need to go is downtown LA, where there's loads to see, like the Disney Concert Hall and the Last Bookstore. Downtown LA is somewhere that I think is generally often overlooked by a lot of people when they come to visit LA, because it's not maybe seen as quite as glamorous as Hollywood. But the big epic skyline that you can see reminds you a bit more of a city-like place. It's obviously the financial district. The architecture here though is fabulous and more distinct than what you see in the rest of LA. One place that you have to go and visit is the Walt Disney Concert Hall, which is an absolutely stunningly beautiful building, which was a gift from the widow of Walt Disney to the city. There's little paths that you can wander through to take in the architecture and the design of the concert hall itself, and you'll notice that there's a section which has got a shiny section on it where the rest of the building is matte. Now, the building was originally shiny, but apparently one day the people in the block of flats opposite came home and the animals were dead from the reflection of the light into their flats, causing them to overheat. So they had to go around the entire concert hall with scourers to mattify it to stop those reflections, but they did keep that little shiny bit to show what it used to be like. A short walk down the hill from the concert hall, which is actually the hill where the Kylie Minogue All the Lovers video was filmed, is the Angel's Flight, which is the shortest tram line in the world. It's no longer in operation, but it was originally built because downtown LA is on a massive hill to help the bankers and the city workers get into work more easily than having to climb up the huge steep hill. From here, you're only a short walk around the rest of downtown LA, which has things including the Last Bookstore, which is a cool little secondhand bookstore which has some really cool little features in it, such as a hole made of books, as well as other cool little quirky features such as a book tunnel and different kind of pieces of art that are all made out of books. So this is just one example of some of the cool little quirky places that you can visit in downtown LA. Others include great little restaurants, there's some cool coffee places, as well as cool little speakeasy bars with secret entrances still there from the Prohibition era.
Another classic you have to visit is Venice Beach and Muscle Beach.
LA has got some great beaches. There's Santa Monica Beach. You could even drive down to Laguna Beach, which is about an hour away, or Manhattan Beach, which has got some huge beachfront houses, and it's really nice just to walk down there to take in the sights. But probably the most famous beach in LA is Venice Beach. Venice Beach is a really cool little place to come during the day, and you can have a little roller skate or skateboard which you can hire down the edges of it, or equally to come sort of at dusky time, which is when we went. Unfortunately the weather wasn't great, so the sunset wasn't good on the day we went, but there are some fantastic views and great sunsets that can be seen here. You can wander down and see some of the outdoor exercise equipment and have a bit of a hang around on the rings. But the thing that Venice Beach is probably most famous for, and the photo opportunity down here, is to head along to Muscle Beach. Unfortunately, the day we went a bit late, so there wasn't anyone working out there, but often you can see lots of big, huge muscle men working out outside in the sunshine on the outdoor exercise equipment. Venice Beach really reminds me a bit of Camden in London, with the types of t-shirt stores they have, as well as piercing places and tattoo parlours, and it's a bit alternative and definitely worth a visit for a wander and an ice cream.
Next up is checking out the sights and the nightlife of West Hollywood.
West Hollywood, or WeHo as it's better known as, has Santa Monica Boulevard running directly through it, and is also right near Sunset Boulevard with the famous Chateau Marmont. It's well known as being a very highly densely gay populated area, but I think it's got something for everyone in it. You can rent a bicycle and cycle up and down, or visit one of the fantastic bars that are in the area with lots of great happy hour deals and offers. It's a really lovely place to just sit and enjoy in the sunshine, and then you can take a walk across the famous big rainbow zebra crossing, which runs right through the centre of WeHo. There's a real variety of bars and restaurants to go to, including the Pump restaurant, which is owned by Lisa Vanderpump from the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. A staple to go to in West Hollywood is the Abbey, which is an incredible bar and food place which is just perfect to sit out in the sun in an afternoon and have a few drinks, with some really lovely outdoor areas, as well as an inside bit which turns into quite a cool nightclub to go to in the evening.
Of course, a trip to LA would not be complete without a visit to the famous Hollywood Walk of Fame on Hollywood Boulevard.
Hollywood Boulevard is just a short drive from WeHo. When you come here, make sure you don't get done over by one of the public parking places, which are quite expensive. The side streets down the side are actually a lot cheaper just to pay a metre. And then you can take a stroll up the famous Hollywood Walk of Fame, which is an absolute must-do when you come to LA, and walk across all those stars of all the famous people that symbolise the Hollywood movie industry. There's a real variety of different people recognised here, from actors, actresses, directors, classics like Marilyn Monroe, and even some Brits like Emma Thompson, Colin Firth and Helen Mirren. And not forgetting the cartoon greats like Tinkerbell and all the characters from Disney. I'm always struck that I think it's not quite as glamorous as I expect Hollywood to be from what you think of the movies, but it's a really interesting place to go and visit. The Oscars are on in February, so a lot of the roads are actually often shut off at this time, but it's quite cool to come and visit and think this is where those massive stars are coming to visit. The Oscars are held at the Grauman's Chinese Theatre, which is where all the famous imprints of famous stars' hands and feet are. So you can wander over and take a look at how big Eddie Murphy's hands are, or how big Cher's feet were, and even try and see whether your hands and feet are the same size as Frank Sinatra's. I think that coming and placing your hands and getting a picture on the handprints at the Grauman's Chinese Theatre is just one of those bucket list things that you've got to do when you come to LA. One thing to warn you of though is if you do come during Oscar season is that lots of the areas are often cordoned off to get ready for it, so you might miss out on seeing your favourite star. A friend of ours wasn't able to see Britney. There's also a great view of the Hollywood sign at the shopping centre just on Hollywood Boulevard for you to get a third view to add to the list.
So there you have it. If you like the video, please do click like, leave me a comment below and tell me what you thought, and also make sure you hit that subscribe button. See you later.